So it's week 25 and the action got started on Saturday afternoon at Wembley with Newcastle arriving to compete with Spurs. Spurs were still without Kane, of course. He's rehabilitating in the Bahamas, lucky him. And they were also without Dele Alli. The first half, Spurs were totally dominant. The highlights then, on 16 minutes, Mora breaks the offside trap and is found with a neat chip, but inexplicably manages to head the board wide. It should have been 1-0 Spurs. Anyway, on 23 minutes, Lamela managed to hit an upright with his header. And a few minutes later, Newcastle, with one of their rare exploits upfield, Rondon's shot was blocked easily by Lloris. On 38 minutes then, Dubravka thwarted another Sacco effort. But even though Spurs had totally dominated the territorial possession, they had nothing to show for it at the break. Into the second half then, and on 48 minutes, Sanchez managed to escape Lechos at a corner, but his header floated just wide. Newcastle, to be fair, were taking a few more risks, and a warning for Spurs. Rondon hit a powerful header against the post with Lloris well beaten. That was an escape for Spurs on 50 minutes. After that, though, the pattern of the first half was re-established, with Spurs trying to unlock that resilient Magpies defence. On 64, Shah miraculously cleared off the line from an effort from Eriksson. And half of the ball was in, but that's not good enough, of course. 66 minutes, Rondon showing his strength, laid off a nice ball to Perez, who brings a great save out from Lloris. But then on 80 minutes, Trippier's corner, panic in the Newcastle defence, and they managed to frantically clear, but to no avail. On 82, ball is cleared to Son, who creates a yard of space, and on the edge of the area, hit a sweet strike straight at Dubravka. Unfortunately, the Newcastle keeper made a right mess of it, and the ball squeezed between his legs. On 86, he repeated his error when he failed to clear, but Llorente's shot went wide. One goal was enough. Spurs keeping up the pressure on the top two. Winners by 1-0. So to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against the bottom club Huddersfield, trying to erase the memory of that mauling via Bournemouth in midweek. Lots of pressure on the Chelsea boss as well. And we were all wondering what was going to be the reaction by the players to his criticism that they were lacking in motivation. Well, he didn't have to wait long. On the 3rd minute, Barclay back in the side, hit a shot just wide. And then 16 minutes, Kante put the new signing Higuain through, and his right foot shot hit the back of the net. And so Chelsea into an early lead. Aspiricueta managed to stumble over. Was it inside the box or outside? The referee gave a penalty, and Hazard coolly put the Chelsea 2 up, and that was just at the half-time whistle. Into the second half then, and Chelsea now really in dominant mood. Barclay put Hazard away on 64 minutes, and he managed to do that delightful swivel to fool the keeper, and it was in the back of the net, 3-0. That was from quite a tight angle, but Hazard makes that look dreadfully easy. 5 minutes later, and Higuain got the best goal of the match, a great strike from outside the box, which hit the back of the net, and Leicester had absolutely no chance. 86 minutes, Luis from a corner headed the ball goalwards, and it managed to hit a defender and went in. So the scoring was complete. Sarri, very happy. Back to winning ways. Chelsea, final score, beating Huddersfield by 5-0. To Goodison Park, and the buoyant Wolves were in town. Everton under pressure. The manager is certainly looking the strain, Marcus Silva, and Everton poor run, both home and away, very much under scrutiny. Wolves were looking for their first win in 40 years at Goodison Park, but they got off to a great start when Doherty was brought down in the box by Baines, just back from injury, and Neves slotted it home on 7 minutes. Wolves 1-0. After that, Denduka forced a reflex save from Pickford, and on 27 minutes, against the run of play, Everton, through Gomez, hit an absolutely tremendous strike from outside the box that whistled past his fellow Portuguese Patricio to level things. 1-1. Jimenez got Wolves back in front from a Moutinho free kick, and that was at the end of the first half. So 2-1 to Wolves at the break. Into the second half, well, Wolves were really dominant. Dendukas on 66, once again finishing a really sweet counter-attack by Wolves, and that made it 3-1. His final volley ripped the top of the net. A black cat halted play for a few minutes, which didn't give Everton much luck. The match finished 3-1 to Wolves, a fully deserved win by Nino's team, and they have consolidated their position in 7th. As I say, Everton in deep trouble. London derby then. Fulham, after that 4-2 win against Brighton, travelled across London to Selhurst Park. Palace versus Fulham. Benteke was back for Palace, but after the red card in the week, there was no Saha. Early moments, and Mitrovic headed wide when he really should have scored. After that, though, Palace tended to control the game, but they were gifted their opener when Christie, jumping up for a challenge with Benteke, managed to hit the ball with his hand, and Mihailovic converted from the penalty spot. So that's 1-0 Palace. Shortly after that, Townsend had a chance. His cross came to Benteke, who hit a ferocious overhead kick, which clipped the bar. Very, very unlucky for the big striker. Anyway, 1-0 at the break, into the second half, and Ayew, he got in on the act. He forced a save from the keeper, Rico, and Saka headed wide late on for Palace. Then substitution, Benteke off and Batshuayi on. He previously was on Chelsea's books, has had a spell in Germany. Anyway, he soon adjusted, and he jinked his way into a goal-scoring situation and hit a great shot, which Rico managed to push away, but only to the waiting Slop, who followed up to get Palace's second on 87 minutes. That was it. Palace, comfortable win in the end, winning by 2-0. So, to the Cardiff Stadium. Cardiff at home to Bournemouth. This was the first home match that Cardiff had since the loss of Emilio Sala in that tragic plane accident. And it was an emotional, packed stadium. And you could see it written all over the players' faces as they had a minute's silence at the before the commencement of the game. Bournemouth were without Brooks, who's out for 4 weeks, a big loss for Bournemouth after the way he played against Chelsea. And they didn't get off to a very good start. On 5 minutes, their captain Cook managed to handle the ball in the penalty box and going for a challenge, that was. And Reed converted the penalty, Cardiff ahead 1-0. Into that first half, Edridge tipped over a shot from Sermon and it went onto the bar. That about summed up the highlights in the first half. In the second half, virtually from the kickoff, Reed managed to latch onto a through ball, rounded Boric, and managed to squeeze the ball into the net. There was no offside, and Cardiff were 2 up. After that, the game rather petered out. Bournemouth just didn't get going. They were pretty average at both ends of the park. Cardiff ran out easy winners by 2-0, and Neil Warnock very emotional in his post-match interview. Final score: Cardiff 2, Bournemouth 0. So to Turf Moor. Burnley have been on a very good run of late, entertained Hassan Tulla's Southampton, who equally have been getting good results. First half action then, Ings sprinted forward and managed to force an early save from Heaton. Wood at the other end created a half chance, but his shot was too high. And then the first bit of controversy. Barnes ran onto a through pass, pushed the ball beyond the keeper, who managed to connect with Barnes. The whole ground shouting penalty, but the referee decided to give Barnes a yellow card for simulation. Well, it didn't look very simulated to me. But anyway, it was goalless at the break. Then as is the case into the second half, on 55 minutes, Redmond managed to get a shot away from just outside the box, and he hit the corner of the net. So Southampton were 1 up. Burnley's new January signing was put on a substitute. His name is Peter Crouch. You might well remember him from all of his appearances with Stoke, Man City, Spurs, you name it. Anyway, he started causing trouble immediately arriving on 93 minutes, he went for a ball with Stevens, who managed to handle, and so we had another penalty, and this time it was awarded by the referee, and Barnes converted it to snatch an equaliser. Fair result, I think. Final score: Burnley 1 and Southampton 1. Final match on Saturday, and we were at the Amex for Brighton against Watford. Well, Brighton were wanting to avoid their 4th defeat in a row, and Watford, well, they've been steadily picking up points. First half action, and it was dominated really by Foster in Watford's goal. He made a great save from Lacadia's header, and then that was really all we had to show for the first half. But in the second half, Foster was far busier. He made a second great save to deny Lacadia. He also turned away Duffy's overhead kick, and he also thwarted a late rally from Brighton. And with that, he managed to help Watford to a 0-0 scoreline. Chris Hughton a little frustrated really, but you have to give it to Foster. He really should be in the frame for the England job, because I'm not satisfied with Pickford. But apparently he told the management a few years back that he didn't want to be considered. Perhaps he'll reassess on this form. Final score then: Brighton 0, Watford 0. First of the Sunday's matches then, and we're at the King Power Stadium with Manchester United, the visitors. Lukaku and Mata and Martial were on the bench. Sanchez was up front with Rashford. Bailly was in for Jones. Second minute then, Ndidi flicked a header wide from a corner after an error from the said Bailly. And 4 minutes, a great ball from Shaw, and Rashford managed to head the ball over from 3 yards. A clear chance to open the scoring. On 7 minutes then, a swift move and shot from Rashford. Schmeichel managed to save it. And then on 9 minutes, the move of the match, an absolutely delightful cross-field pass by Pogba, which caught the Leicester defence napping, and Rashford once again was too quick for the defender, outran him, moved into the box and hit his right foot shot, slap bag in the corner, no chance for Schmeichel. The Red Devils 1-up. A little later then, Leicester had a good chance when the ball broke clear for Maddison, whose shot was well blocked by Shaw. Chilwell was finding a lot of space on the left flank and causing a danger for United. On 37 minutes, Heavens managed to get his head to a corner and it went just wide. Again though, Bailly found wanting. So the game had become a little bit predictable, very slow in tempo, exactly the opposite of what Solskjaer had been saying was needed. 42 minutes, a free kick was cleared to Barnes, whose shot just went wide of the target. Barnes was coordinating well with Chilwell. So it was 1-0 at the break, and into the second half, Barnes got to the byline again, and he caught the defence sleeping, but his cross just went wide. United's defence looking very slow and predictable, and Leicester were on the front foot. Now, 58 minutes, Rashford hit a shot wide after a spell of United possession. Outstanding save from De Gea was the next thing to recall, when he saved Vardy's volley, which followed the defensive wall blocking a free kick. It ricocheted to Vardy, who hit it on the volley, but De Gea proving just how good he is, tipping it wide. We got to 86. Maguire managed to get some space from a free kick. He headed back across Carl, but Evans, with a complete air shot, missed the ball completely. Another clear chance. 86 minutes then, Lukaku, who had come on, as had Martial, managed to hit a drive that Schmeichel dealt with. Then we were into added time, and Pogba, again looking very, very good on 92 minutes, ran onto a pass, but it was just foiled. Then the final whistle arrived, and I have to say, United were a little bit fortunate, really. A tremendous goal, yes, but Leicester gave them a good front for their money. Anyway, final score was Leicester 0, Man U 1. And so Solskjaer's run continues. Second match on Sunday then, Manchester City at home to Arsenal. Ozil was back on the bench for Arsenal. Still a bit of a mystery why Emery keeps on putting him back on the bench. He was captain in the week. Anyway, it didn't take long for the City machine to be working at full pelt. After 50 seconds, Arsenal gave away possession. Laporta managed to get an overlap on the left. His cross was met by Aguero, who headed the ball home. Time of the goal, 48 seconds. Man City 1-0 up. 5 minutes later, Leno managed to deny Sterling, which would have put City 2 up. And then on 8 minutes, Laporta's header managed to find the net, but it was apparently disallowed. Somebody was in an offside position. And then a rare Arsenal attack on 10 minutes, a corner, a Kolasinac centred, and Koscielny managed to evade his marker and headed in the equaliser. After that, Arsenal improved, and they were matching City stride for stride. We were approaching half-time, on minute 43, another great team passing movement by City, involving Gundogan and Sterling, and then he managed to get a nice centre to who else? Aguero, who headed in his second. So City back in front, 2-1 at the break. Into the second half, minute 52, De Bruyne's whip shot was saved by Leno. But then on 60, Aguero completed his hat-trick. This time, Sterling's pace managed to get to the byline, and he found Aguero, who forced the ball over whilst being challenged. Not sure if it hit his stomach or his leg, but it certainly crossed the line. City in comfort zone now, 3-1. After that, to be perfectly honest, Arsenal offered little, and City seemed to be content with the comfortable scoreline. Final score then, Manchester City 3, Arsenal 1. So the last match of week 25 on Monday night, and we were at the London Stadium for West Ham at home to the league leaders Liverpool, and it got off to a very brisk start. Within 2 minutes, Hernandez early strike went inches wide, and then on 9 minutes, Cresswell's strike also just went wide. But 15 minutes, Alisson pushed away another effort from Chicho Hernandez, who was looking extremely sharp. But as so often is the case, 19 minutes, first real offensive action by Liverpool, Firmino, but his effort was rather tame. But a couple of minutes later, some great work on the right wing by Lallana, managed to nick the ball through to Milner, who was clearly in an offside position. But anyway, he crossed the ball to Mane, who swiveled and hit it on his left foot, and it went in the corner, and the Scousers were 1 up. 27 minutes then. And West Ham responded following a free kick. Antonio was put through, and the defence looked a bit slow. Anyway, he ran onto the ball and clipped the ball past Alisson in off the post. It was 1 each. On 41 minutes, Alisson finds a good pass, but Rice inexplicably headed over. He was all alone, unchallenged. Second half then dropped off a bit, really. Not so much goalmouth action. Salah came into the game on 61, jinking run, but his curled shot was saved comfortably by Fabianski. On 72 minutes, Noble had a great chance to put the Hammers back in front, but he managed to hit the ball over. And then right on the whistle, Liverpool could have stole it when Origi, on as a sub, was put through with the goalie to beat, but managed to shoot very tamely, and no problems for the keeper. So it ended 1-1. Pellegrini was very unhappy with the Liverpool offside goal in interview, but it was a good performance by West Ham after 2 drubbings. So how does that leave us? Well, Liverpool are still on top, of course, but their lead's been reduced to 4 points. Man City are second, closely followed by Spurs. Man U are up to 5th, ahead of Arsenal now. At the bottom, things are much the same. Huddersfield are virtually down, and Fulham are some way from the position they need to be to avoid relegation. The goal of the week. Well, I know I'm biased, but I've got to award it to Rashford's winner against Leicester because of the beauty of the pass by Pogba, who got another Man of the Match award. He is simply terrific. Okay, that's your lot.